Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is just going to be a little bit of a tour of the equipment that I have in the network suite. When people think of the network suite and they see the network suite, I think they wrongly assume that I've spent quite a lot of money on the stuff in the network suite. And what I wanted to explain today was that really I haven't, because I've bought most of the stuff used and I've bought most of the stuff that's maybe faulty, and then I've either repaired it myself or I've just managed to get a really good deal on eBay. So I thought we'd just go from kind of left to right. I'm not going to go on too long about each thing, but the interesting thing for me anyway, and I hope for you, is that there's a bit of a story behind each thing that's on this desk from left to right. Now the first thing is, of course, the iPhone 10. Now that iPhone 10, if it will come on, I got that on launch day from the Apple store in Meadowhall. So that was on the 3rd of November 2017 after pre-ordering on the Apple website. So I was really excited about that, and I was really excited about Face ID as well. Moving on to the second device on the left hand side of my desk, it's the late 2009 iMac 27-inch. Now as you can see, if I move around to the side here, it's one of the thicker ones, so that shows that it's an older model, and it's got the optical drive. Now when I bought it, it had a few problems. The optical drive didn't work, which really wasn't a big thing for me. And the other thing that was wrong with it was that it had a lot of dust behind the screen. In the top right hand corner there was a lot of dust. It also had a mechanical hard drive, and it was just a bit slow. I think it only had 8 gigs of RAM or something. So I went about repairing the screen, sticking in a solid state drive, and the screen repair was actually pretty hard to do. I had to almost separate the LCD from the backlight, cut away tin foil around the outside, and then I bought some tin foil tape to fuse or reseal so that no more dust got into the screen. And then once that was done, of course, once it was open, I could install an SSD. I don't store anything locally on my systems. My systems are almost like just base builds of the operating system. Everything's stored on servers, so I always just stick in a 15 quid SSD. Normally, I can't remember the make of them. Integral, I think they're called. So that is the iMac 27-inch. I've had it for about 7 years now. I got it when it was about 3 years old, and that would have cost me about £350–400 pounds. I keep wanting to say dollars because so many YouTube videos express currency in dollars. But yeah, that was good. I managed to get it from a guy out of the back of his boot at Knutsford Services, so that saved me a little bit on postage. Moving on to the other accessories I have, I've got the Google, what's it called these days? It's the Nest Hub. Yeah, not the Google Home Hub anymore, the Nest Hub. And what does it do? It sits there and shows different pictures, and I turn the lights on and off. I've got some smart bulbs above me, and I can turn the lights on and off. I sometimes listen to the radio with it, and that's about it. And then of course with the iMac, I got the Magic Keyboard. It's the first generation, and the Magic Mouse. The mouse at the bottom of it, it's kind of like the black plastic strip that sort of elevates the mouse a little bit from the surface is kind of coming away, but a bit of super glue sorted that. The Nest Hub, again, got that in the Black Friday sale. And then the Logitech Pebble mouse as well, I use for some of my laptops, a Bluetooth mouse, and I can either connect it to my iPad or I can connect it to any MacBook or any PC really that has Bluetooth. And then moving on, we've got this thing called the Logitech Cube. I'll just show you that in a little bit more detail. The Logitech Cube is a really rare sort of device. I've not seen many of them on eBay, and I got it in some sort of Logitech fire sale. I don't think they were very popular. It was like all the bad points of a mouse and all the bad points of being a presentation clicker kind of merged into one. So it was a very uncomfortable looking or using mouse, and it was a very mediocre presentation clicker. So I think they were originally about £90, and I think on the Amazon web, on the Logitech website, they ended up selling them off to me for about £19.99. Moving on further, we've got the Harman Kardon Soundsticks. I think they're just the first generation. They might be the second generation. And I think they retail again for over £100 new. This was used on eBay. They cost me about £35 to £40. And that was because, I don't know if you can see, if I just go a little bit closer, and excuse the stir, if you know what that means. Excuse it, I do dust in here as much as I can. But I think that was, yeah, so £39-ish or £30 or £40 for these speakers. And that was because the bottom of one of the speakers wasn't quite sealed properly. So I've repaired that with a cable tie, and it works brilliantly, and that also reduces the vibration. I think that they said it was faulty because the left speaker was vibrating. Well, a cable tie resolved that. Moving on to the ThinkPads then. So this is the first of two ThinkPads that I use for day to day if I ever need to use a Windows machine. And sorry about the flicker here, but this is the ThinkPad T420, and I got that. It looked, again, this was on eBay, I think it was £90, untested. It was literally new. I think what had happened was that a company had bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, and maybe the employee had just said, oh, I've left. Maybe they left a week after they were given it or something, or it was one that was never issued to the employee. It was stuck on a shelf, and then it was sold as untested. And again, first thing I did when I got it was stuck in an SSD, got it up to 8 gigs of RAM, and then that brings me on to the little Lenovo Thinkpad X200. Now this is the state of the art for its day. I mean, nothing's new in this place. State of the art for its day, with an i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and again stuck an SSD in it. And it really is, it's fine. It's still fine. I think that these laptops, I know that the T420 is coming up to around, well, it'll be 2011, 10 years old now, and I think that the X200 will be coming up for 13-year-old. But for a basic Windows system where I just need to quickly log on to Windows 10, and all of these Windows devices I have are connected to a domain controller, so again, not really any storage required on them, and I normally just do basic tasks. I mean, the last time I really needed to use a Windows laptop was when I was down punching in commands into my router for the internet connection in the house. I had to have some sort of terminal to be able to do that, and I was able just to grab this Windows system. And I like everything to be matching, so I always try and buy branded mice, or mice that are the same make as what I use for or what make the laptop is. I've got a really nice ThinkPad Bluetooth mouse that was again from eBay. And then for the Lenovo ThinkStation, which you're about to see down below, because this is the next thing here, if I just move down slowly, you'll be able to see the old, very old Lenovo ThinkStation S20 that I use as my sort of main Windows workstation. And that system was £69 from eBay. It's got 16 gigs of RAM and a quad-core Xeon processor, and it runs Microsoft Windows fine. So of course I've got a Lenovo branded mouse for that one. Now, sitting quietly in the corner there with its display off is the iPad Pro 2018. I bought that new and I bought that at full price, but I got about £100 off because I bought it from John Lewis and I used about £100 worth of vouchers that I'd got from my John Lewis partnership card, MasterCard. So that was better than a poke in the eye. Now moving on to the keyboard that I use for the Lenovo ThinkStation. This is a weird one because I really wanted to buy a ThinkPad-like keyboard but just a keyboard, not an actual ThinkPad laptop in itself. And I couldn't really see, they do them, but they're over £100. And I saw this one. This is supposed to be the keyboard for one of Lenovo's first ThinkPad tablets, and it was £15 rather than £100 on eBay. And for some reason, the gentleman who sold it to me, he sent me two and one had a missing key. So I sold the one that had a missing key for £12.99. So it cost me roughly £3. This genuine Lenovo ThinkPad Bluetooth keyboard with the little nipper. So I'm really impressed with that £3 keyboard. So moving on to the first of the big beasts, and it's the Apple Cinema display, and that is my first 30-inch cinema display. If I just move it out a little bit. Now each cinema display has a bit of a story behind them. So the first one, I'll just go through all three of them so you can see them all again. But the first cinema display I bought from somebody on eBay, again, in Altrincham, about 50 minutes from where I am at the moment. And the guy was insistent on selling me a 30-inch display as well as a 24-inch cinema display. And I did actually say to him on eBay messaging, I said you'd be better selling them individually because you'd get about 150 for the cinema display, 30-inch, and you'd probably get around 70 or 80 for the 24-inch display, so you'd get over £200. He didn't want to do that, he wanted to sell them both, so I bought both of them for £170, and then I sold the 24-inch for £90. So altogether it cost me £80 for this first 30-inch cinema display, and I absolutely love these displays. The only pain in the neck is because they're dual link DVI, you have to buy quite expensive adapters to connect them to any sort of modern hardware. Luckily, if we just go down again and have a look at down here, we can see that we've got the Lenovo ThinkStation S20. Luckily that has a DVI connector in the graphics card, so it is really easy just to plug and play for that one. But normally you're having to be buying adapters that can be quite expensive. So that was the first cinema display story. Now the second one is my newest one, and this was from Facebook Marketplace, and it came with the genuine Apple DVI to dual link mini DisplayPort to dual link DVI adapter, to be precise. And this one I bought that for £180, but then I sold the dual link DVI adapter for £60. And then there were some other adapters that he also gave me with it that I sold for about 20 or 30, because my motto here is that I really don't want to be spending over around £100 per display. So far, if we think about this setup that people tell me looks quite impressive, I've really only shelled out a couple of £100 so far. 100, let's say, for the first monitor, 69 for the Lenovo ThinkStation, and now I'm on my second monitor that again came to just under £100 once I'd sold these adapters that you sold me along with the monitor, because I already had one. So that at the moment is just connected to my work laptop, which is a Dell Vostro. So this is the main one that I use for my work day to day. Now, we've talked about a lot of used items, but of course there's buying used Macs, and then there's buying an M1 Mac that offers, as everybody on YouTube says, unbelievable value for money based on the performance. So underneath, and I've only bought this last month, underneath the second monitor here is my brand new, less than a month old M1 Mac Mini. It's just the entry-level machine. It's got the M1 processor, 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, and 16-core neural engine. It's a bit sad that I know these statistics off by heart. Never mind. But anyway, it's amazing, and I got a little bit of a discount on this machine as well. So it came to basically about £550 for a brand new state-of-the-art Apple Mac Mini. I was really impressed with that. And that is connected, again through a lot of trickery and a lot of different adapters, to the final Apple Cinema display 30-inch. Now this must have been a mistake. The gentleman happened to put this on eBay a couple of years ago for £90, and it was in the box, and it came with an Apple iSight web camera that I sold for 40. So I paid about £55 for this. Just thinking that's really crazy, but it's up to the seller, I suppose, what they charge for things. And then I've just got that connected. This is the Mac Mini setup. It's connected to a cheap Element Gaming from eBuyer. I think eBuyer have discontinued Element Gaming stuff now. So this was in the sale for $14.99, and the mouse was an Amazon thing for about $8.99, I think, on a Black Friday. So altogether, looking at my setup, I mean, I am talking, I would say, less than £1,000 for absolutely everything that you see here. I've been called the Al Gore of the UK, because I believe that Al Gore had 3 30-inch cinema displays side by side like I do, and you know, it is great. The only thing I would say to watch for is that they use fluorescent backlighting, and another Achilles heel of these large displays is the amount of the big fat power adapter that has to sit with them, the 150 watt Apple Display power adapter. And the thing about that is that now that I've got all 3 of them on, that's 450 watts. Now in today's day and age, I think that that's quite a lot of power. A few years ago it was nothing, but bearing in mind that laptops like the MacBook Air M1 sit at around 10 watts, sipping from a CPU point of view, and an LED light bulb draws anything between 5 and 10 watts now. It's quite substantial running costs if you've got them on all the time. So although I say that these things aren't very expensive, don't leave them running all the time, because you're going to end up wearing them out. They are 15, 16-year-old pieces of kit, but what you're also going to do is just edge up that electricity bill when, you know, you don't really need to. So there's my 3 cinema displays, and they're great. I love them. And they keep me warm as well in the winter, because they generate a lot of heat. They're actually warm to the touch at the top. So yeah, that's kind of my main setup tour. I hope you've enjoyed looking at it. I really like it. Under here, there's nothing to report apart from the fact that I do my best to hide as many cables as I can. This is the Harman Kardon Soundsticks subwoofer under here. And then, luckily I have this cable tray down the back of the desk, because that is just absolutely jam-packed full of Apple 150 watt cinema display power adapters and mini DisplayPort to dual link DVI adapters, which actually probably I could sell for more than the cost of most of this equipment now, because they've stopped being produced, are really quite expensive. So yeah, all one cut. Just one last thing to show you is how I'm actually connecting 2 of the 3 of these cinema displays, and they're being connected to relatively modern pieces of kit with a mini DisplayPort to USB-C or USB 4 or Thunderbolt, depending on which party you a member of. They are, yeah, mini DisplayPort to USB-C adapters. So quite incredible. I always think it's incredible because I'm so old these days, but I think it's quite incredible that such a small plug can actually power a 30-inch cinema display. So it's really nice. Really nice. So thank you for watching this far, and I really want in the comments for you to like, comment and subscribe, but that goes without saying. But more importantly, let me know if you've got any questions on any of the things that I've shown you in this video. If you want to know how I kind of negotiate on eBay to get things a little bit cheaper than I would normally, you might normally pay, please let me know. If you want me to tell you how you can save some money, maybe by buying things that need a little bit of fixing up, then let me know. Any questions, the comments is where I'll get back to you as soon as I can, which is normally within a couple of hours. So there is the iMac 27-inch, and it's come on with that aerial screensaver. That aerial screensaver really is quite intensive for these poor systems. Of course, it's not intensive at all for the M1. The M1's fan I've yet to hear. Thanks everybody for watching, and let me know what you think of this video.